Hi yogis, my name is Bex. Welcome to my channel Yoga with Bex. In today's practice we're going to be doing a calf friendly full body flow where we work the spine and the whole body. So let's get to it and start on our hands and knees in tabletop position. So we're going to make sure we have a strong foundation as always, having the wrists directly underneath the shoulders and the knees directly underneath the hips, pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat. And we'll come into our cat-cows just to wake up the spine. Inhaling to drop the belly down towards the mat, lifting the gaze and lifting the tailbone. Cow pose. Exhaling, we're going to start to round through the spine, tucking the tailbone under and the chin underneath. Inhale to drop the belly and lift the gaze. See if you can imagine shining your heart space forwards. Exhale to round through the spine. Really separating the shoulder blades as you tuck the chin and tuck the tailbone. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale to round. We'll come into a neutral spine and we'll just take some figure of eights with the hips. So you can take a peek at me, taking the hips out to the left. So pressing the hips out to the left, and then we'll take the body weight back over the left heel and then shift it over the right heel, coming out to the right side. And then we're going to take our body weight kind of in a diagonal motion over the left hand and then over the right hand, and then coming back over to the left and over the heels. So just working nice and slowly in this figure of eight formation, taking the hips all the way back and coming over the wrists, strengthening the wrists as we do so. And we'll come back to a neutral tabletop position to reverse the direction, taking the hips out to the right this time, sending them over the right heel, over the left heel, coming forwards over the right hand, and then the left hand, sending the hips back, drawing a nice figure of eight with your hips. Taking a couple more. And we'll make it back to a neutral spine. We'll pick up the right knee off the mat and send the toes behind us, and then lower the toes all the way down to the mat. Seeing if we can tuck the toes underneath. Just being really mindful of any pain or issues that you might be dealing with in your calf here. And then we can see if we can transfer very gently the body weight backwards over the heel and then forwards. So we're rocking in a backwards and forwards motion here. Just stretching out the back of the legs and encouraging the blood to flow here. Good. And then we'll pick up the toes and squeeze the right knee underneath the body, drawing the knee towards our nose, rounding through the spine. On an inhale, we'll kick the right heel up and look up, opening through the chest. Exhale to squeeze it underneath. Inhale to lift, making sure we're nice and lengthened through the arms. Exhale to round. Inhale to kick it back. Last one, squeezing it underneath. And inhale to kick it all the way back. Good. And we'll bring the right knee down and repeat the sequence on the other side. So lifting up the left knee, sending the left heel back and lowering the left toes all the way down. We'll tuck the toes underneath and start to transfer our body weight nice and slowly and mindfully backwards over the heel and forwards. Just working with what feels good for your body. Rocking here. Good. Stretching out the back of the leg. And then we'll pick up the left toes and squeeze the left knee underneath the body, nose to knee. Inhale to kick it back, open up through the chest. And exhale to round the spine and squeeze. Inhale to kick it back. And exhale to round. Two more, inhaling. And exhale. Last one. And we'll squeeze it all the way underneath and lower the knee down, coming into our neutral tabletop. We'll just Take a moment to walk the hands in towards the knees and sit back on our heels. Finding length through the spine here and bringing our hands in prayer to our heart center, Anjali Mudra. On an inhale, we're going to lift the arms up and overhead, biceps by the ears. And exhale to open up the arms nice and wide, seeing if we can open up the chest as we open the arms. Bringing our hands back to heart center. Inhale, the arms come up, really reaching. And exhale to open the arms, open the chest. Inhale, the arms come up. And we exhale to round. Good. This time we're going to lift the arms up overhead and then twist to the right side, opening the arms and bringing the left hand to the right knee and the right hand just behind us, coming into a spinal twist, looking over our right shoulder. Inhale to see if we can lengthen a little more through the spine, and on an exhale, lightly deepening our twist. So we're not cranking the body around here, we're just being really nice and gentle, just small little movements to deepen the pose. Inhale, exhale, and on an inhale we'll start to rotate the body around to the center and lift the arms all the way up. On an exhale we'll twist to the left, bringing our right hand to the left knee and our left hand just behind us, twisting on the other side. So on an in-breath we'll once again lengthen through the spine and deepen our twist. On an exhale. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, we'll start to come back to the center. We're going to just focus on our feet for a moment here. So some people might find this next pose quite intense, so just working with your own body. We're going to see if we can rock the body forwards. Just tuck the toes underneath as we set the hips back on the heels. And you might need to manually tuck your little toes underneath. And just notice how the body feels in this position. Some people find this quite intense, as I say, but this is a really, really great stretch for the feet and the toes. And something that I recommend doing daily if it feels okay for your body. So we're just going to hold it here for a few moments. Bringing the hands to heart center and reaching the arms up and overhead. Taking a few breaths here. So we're really reaching through the hands, and the hands can be touching, palms touching, or they can be in a little V shape above your head. So we're really finding length in the spine. And if you feel the legs starting to fire up here, which you probably do, seeing if you can breathe into those areas of tightness and find some softness, find some ease in this pose. We're taking one last full breath here. And we're gently going to rain the hands down just in front of the knees, lifting the hips up, and just untuck the toes. Good. And then we'll place our hands just behind our feet, lifting up the knees and just letting the body weight set backwards to stretch out the fronts of the ankles. Just as a little counter stretch here. And then letting the body weight come forward, finding a neutral kneeling pose. We're going to now come up onto high knees and do a little bit of spine work here. So strong engagement through the glutes, so just squeezing the glutes together just a little bit and drawing length through the spine. We'll take the arms out to the side, so making a nice T shape with the arms, opening up through the chest. And on an inhale, we're going to turn to face the right. Exhale. Inhale back to center. Exhale. And inhale to the left. Exhale. Inhale, we're going to come back to center. Taking a nice deep breath in. And on an exhale, we're going to turn once more to the right. And this time we're going to see if we can drop our right hand down towards our left heel, lifting the left arm up and overhead. pressing the hips forwards, finding a little back bend. So making sure we're engaging through the glutes here, looking up to the sky, finding space. Inhale and exhale to gently release, bringing the hips back to neutral and taking the arms out to the side, coming back to our T shape in the center of the mat. Inhaling here, and on an exhale we'll turn to the left. And then seeing if we can drop our left hand to our left heel and inhaling to lift the right arm up and overhead, gently engaging through the glutes and pressing the hips forwards. Inhale and exhale, coming back to the center. We'll just do that once more on each side, twisting to the right, dropping the right hand down, squeezing through the glutes, coming back to the center and twisting to the left, dropping the left hand down, pressing the glutes forward, back bend. Inhale, back to center, and we'll gently lower the hips all the way back down to the heels. We'll take the knees out nice and wide for a moment, big toes together, and start to walk the hands forwards, hinging from the hips, finding our extended child's pose. Reaching through the arms, letting the forehead fall lightly to the mat. And you can just gently rock the forehead side to side just to give it a little massage here, so we're not putting any pressure on the head, we're just being really light. Reaching through the arms and the shoulders. Good. We're going to keep the arms where they are. Inhale to look up, and then see if you can shift your knees so that the shins become parallel. And the knees are about hip width distance apart, as are the feet. I'm going to sit the hips back down, and then on an inhale we'll start to lift up through the hips and transfer our body weight all the way forward over the wrists. So shoulders are directly over the wrists, and then we're going to squeeze the elbows in as we bend at the elbows and lower the hips down, coming all the way onto the belly. Taking the feet about shoulder width distance apart now, and inhale to lift the chest, using the upper body strength, finding our cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Exhale to lower. We'll press into the hands, come back into a slight variation on tabletop pose with our hands a bit further forward, and exhale to drop the hips back towards the heels. Child's pose. Inhale to lift and round through the spine as we come over the hands and lower, bending at the elbows all the way down to our tummies. Inhale, cobra. Exhale to lower, pressing up into tabletop and lowering the hips all the way down, finding child's pose. We'll do one more. Inhale to round through the spine. Exhale to lower the body down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale to lower, pressing into tabletop, and exhale to set the hips back. Good. I'm going to inhale to round through the spine and lower all the way onto our bellies. This time taking the forearms just in front of us so that they're nice and parallel to one another, and we're making sure that the elbows are underneath the shoulders and the palms are spread, finding our Sphinx pose. Gentle engagement through the glutes again as we come into this back bend, shining the heart space forward, seeing if you can find a little more lift in the upper body. Good. We're going to look to the left hand and bring this in a diagonal just in front of us. So we're creating a little stand here with the left forearm and the left hand. Good. We're going to take a nice bend through the left knee and see if we can sweep the right hand back to take a hold, coming into a quad stretch here. So pressing down through the left hip, making sure you haven't lifted up, and looking over your left shoulder. Inhale. And exhale to gently release. And we're going to roll onto our right hip and bring our left forearm so that it's now parallel to the short edge of your mat. Looking down towards the feet, we're just going to inhale and lift the left foot up and lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower.
2 more. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale to lower. Rolling all the way onto your front to find your Sphinx pose. We'll see if we can find a little lift using our upper body strength here, shining the heart space forwards. And then we'll take the sequence on the other side, creating a little stand with your right hand, bringing it in a diagonal in front of you. We'll take a bend through the right knee, through the left knee, and then sweep the left hand back to take hold of the foot or somewhere towards the foot if you can't quite reach. Coming into a little quad stretch and pressing down through the left hip, looking over your left shoulder. Inhale and exhale to gently release the hold of the foot if you have it, and continue to rotate the body around. So now that we're resting on our right hip and we're bringing the right hand so that it's parallel to the short edge of the mat. On an inhale, we'll lift the left toes up and exhale to lower. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Inhale, exhaling down. Last one, using your core strength, using the strength of your hip, and exhale to lower. And we'll spin all the way back to our tummies, finding our last Sphinx pose here. Good. And then we're going to roll all the way onto the left hip and keep spinning until we're on our seat with our legs extended out in front of us. We can point through the toes here, lifting up one hip and popping the hand underneath the seat, and then doing the same on the other side. So we're sitting on our hands with our palms facing down, spreading through the fingers to transfer the weight, pointing through the toes and looking over the big toes. You can start to open up through the chest a little more, taking the head up to look towards the sky and coming to rest on your elbows, coming to rest on the forearms, opening up through the chest, opening up through the gaze to the ceiling, to the sky. And then if it's okay for your neck, maybe you can look behind you, bringing your head down towards the mat. Maybe resting the crown of your head on the mat. This is a lovely heart opening pose. Maybe you'll find some release through your heart space today. We'll hold it here for one last full breath. And on an inhale, we'll start to lift up through the head, through the upper body, looking over the toes, resting on your forearms, and then slowly lowering down all the way to the mat. And we can untuck the hands from the body, hugging the knees in, taking hold around the shins or around the backs of the thighs, and just gently rocking from side to side, massaging your lower back. Good. And then we'll hug the right knee in and send the left toes nice and long, pointing the right toes to the sky. The leg doesn't need to be perfectly straight here. We can have our hands by our sides and start to take little circles in the right ankle. One way and the other. And then see if we can bring our awareness to the knee joint and see if we can take our circles from here. So we're isolating the knee joint here. Taking circles one way and the other way. Good. Pointing the right toes up towards the sky. And then we'll see if we can take little circles from the hip joint. Just starting small, and then seeing if you can make the circles a little bigger. Maybe crossing the leg over the body and bringing it out to the side. And we'll reverse the direction, starting with big circles this time and making them smaller. Good. Finding stillness. We'll take a bend through the left knee, hook the right ankle over left knee and press the right knee away from the body, preparing for our reclined pigeon pose, lifting up the left toes, threading the right arm through the gap between the legs, taking a hold behind the thigh or around the shin. Making sure your shoulders haven't lifted from the mat as you draw the left leg in towards the body, actively pressing the right knee away from the body if you can, feeling that lovely stretch in your right hip flexor. Inhale and exhale to gently release the hold of the legs, bringing the left leg down to the mat, and we'll stack the right knee on top of the left, bringing the arms out to the sides and allowing the legs to fall down to the right side, looking over your left shoulder, spinal twist. Inhale and exhale. Inhale to bring the feet back to the center, uncross the knees, and we'll send the right leg nice and long, squeezing the left knee in towards the body. And then we'll extend the left toes up to the sky, finding our little ankle circles one way and the other way. And then we'll see if we can isolate the knee joint, finding circles from the knee, lubricating the knee one way and the other way. Good. Pointing the left toes up to the sky, we'll find our little circles with the hip. So taking small circles to begin with and then making them bigger. Maybe drawing the leg all the way across the body and out to the side. Good. And reversing the direction. Making those circles a little smaller until you find stillness with the leg. We'll take a bend through the right knee, cross the left ankle over right knee, press the left knee away from the body, lift up the right toes, thread the left arm through, taking a hold, finding our reclined pigeon. Actively pressing the left knee away from the body as you draw the right knee in. Lovely stretch, and pressing the shoulders down towards the mat. Inhale and exhale to release, bringing the right foot down to the mat, and we'll stack the left knee on top of the right, bringing the arms out to the side, and then allowing the legs to fall down to the left side, taking a look over your right shoulder for our spinal twist. Inhale, exhale, and inhale the legs back to the center, and give ourselves one last full body hug. And allow the legs to extend nice and long, preparing for our final relaxation pose. Most important part of our practice. And noticing how your body feels after your practice today. Stretch the whole body. And nourish the spine. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then when you're ready, we'll roll over onto one side, hugging the knees in. And gently press ourselves up to the seat on the mat to close our practice today. You've worked really hard, bringing your hands to your heart center. Taking a full breath. I will gently flutter the eyelids open,
thank ourselves for our practice today.
Namaste, yogis.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe and like this video. It really helps to support my channel as I hope to build an online yoga community here, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.